Welcome everybody to day 13 of our Living Well series. Today's topic is affirmations for inner strength. I want to start off by telling you a story from the Sufi tradition. So once there was a Sufi saint who was walking through a village and he decided to live there to kind of do some work there. And so a tribal came from the forest to come and help him out as he was doing his work. And this tribal worked really hard, and the Sufi saint was very, very moved by his dedication and his big heart to help the saint while he was in the town. So as he was leaving the town, he decides to gift him with a donkey. Now the tribal takes the donkey and then he puts it into his work. And so he's very happy with the donkey because the donkey, the beast of burden, is carrying all the load that he otherwise would have to carry in his back, and it's relieved him so much of the work and the stress and so on. So he gets very attached to the donkey. And one day, the donkey dies. And he is so heartbroken that this thing was not only that it was his companion, but also his co-worker, the one that is kind of did so much work on that took off the weight on his shoulders. He decides that he's going to be, in memory of that donkey, he's going to build a tomb. So he builds it outside the village. He builds a little tomb and he sits inside and he's crying. He's grieving for that dead donkey. And while this is going on, some passers-by in front of the tomb notice that there's a new tomb. And they think that this tomb must have been built to some great saint, and somebody tosses a coin. Now, seeing that somebody tossed a coin, other passers-by following him also start tossing coins, and pretty soon that becomes a big revenue. So there's a lot of money coming in this all of a sudden. And then this person who comes out of the tomb is considered to be the next saint. And so the word spreads far and wide that there is this great saint and this great tomb where your wishes come true and miracles happen and so on. And after a year, the saint who gifted the donkey is passing through the village again. And then the word spreads around and he gets wind of this information that there is a tomb and there's a very sacred place where you can go and wish for whatever you want. And then there's a saint there. And so somebody brings him, another villager brings this person to see this tomb and the new saint. And then the tribal, upon seeing, recognizing the one who gifted him the donkey, is very happy, and he takes him to the side and tells him the whole story. So that saint, the first one, laughs and he says, "In my village, there's another tomb very similar to this. And that is the mother of this donkey." So ask yourself, humanity has this uncanny knack of revering anything. They have so much faith in prophecies, in symbols, in praying to something else, believing in so much that is of significance outside of themselves. How I wish if that even 10% of the faith that human beings have on temples and talismans and things like these make-believes, if they had 10% of that faith in themselves, imagine the incredible things that one can do. So folks, today I'm going to leave you with 3 points about social connection. I'm noticing that as we are going through this, some of us have been in quarantine for about approximately 4 weeks, some people a little bit less, some people a little bit more. The biggest issue, biggest struggle I'm noticing out there in the world is that people are struggling with this idea of isolation and lack of true and deep connection. So I'm going to share with you some tips. Number 1, seek out connections that are aligned with your values. So find individuals or groups of people where you can be authentic and share this process that you're going through right now. there are all kinds of amazing groups. And I'm talking about, when I say connect with people, I'm talking about connecting with people on the phone, connecting with people online, finding groups, maybe something like this. The Zoom is a perfect example. There's all kinds of amazing Zoom groups, dance parties to dinner parties to everything in between. So find something that you align with. Number two, the quality of your life will be determined by the quality of your relationships. There's an amazing study, the longest study done on this planet, out of Harvard Business School, that you might have heard of it. It's a living experiment, about 278 individuals from the time of their birth to, I think now it's 75-year-old study. Some people have died, some people are still alive, some obviously they're in the old age. They looked at all the factors from the time they were born, conditions in which they were raised, societies they've lived in. Some of them moved out to different places, but they followed them and they looked at what were the conditions that affected well-being, quality of life. And the number one thing that came out of that study is relationships. And so the point I'm making here of that wealth of information that came out of the study is the underlying factor there is that it is not how many friends you have, but even the few friends that you have, how deep is your relationship? Specifically, what Robert Waldinger, if you must have heard about that famous TED talk that he did, he talks about how do you define something that is a deep connection, deep relationship, is when you have the confidence that the some person or a group of people have your back, that you can trust in them, that you can kind of hang your life on them, you can kind of totally depend on them. So that's what I mean by quality of relationship. So in this time of quarantine, self-isolation, not having to go to work, we have this gift of time, and I ask that you try to find those people or person that you've always wanted to deepen your relationship with, and see how you can spend time to cultivate a deeper, getting to know the person, letting them to get to know you. Okay, so that's the second thing. And the third thing that I ask that you consider doing is to, even in the midst of all of this negativity, there's so much that is seemingly not going right, can we find some ways to celebrate that which is going right? Like the clear skies, like some of us are experiencing spring right now, the flowers. There's people going out of the way to help other people. There's people dancing in singing in balconies. There are doctors dancing in their scrubs. They're even in the midst of this crisis, or actually because of the crisis, there is an extra effort that humanity is putting out to search deep within their souls, deep within their hearts, to see how can we make this, how can we offer ourselves, how can we make the situation less miserable? So find those things, the little things around you, and see if you can celebrate them, emphasize that. Okay, so that brings us to our segue into the meditation. Before we get into the meditation, you all know I want to do a little somatic exercise that will help you to drop into your body before we drop into our hearts. So today I want you to raise an arm. I'm going to go back a little bit so you can see me. Raise an arm. And while exhaling, I want you to bend sideways, getting a nice stretch in the side of your abdomen, your chest and abdomen, your lats muscles. And as you're coming up, breathe in. Let's do the other side. Breathe out, stretch. Imagine you're sitting between two panes of glass, and the only movement you can make is sideways. Not front, not back, just side. So lifting up the other arm and give it a nice stretch. And then the other way. And then one last time. And then this side to complete this course. And let's drop in to ourselves. With your eyes open or closed, using breath as your vehicle, let us turn our attention within. Breathing in deep into the belly and letting go of any tightness in the body that you may be feeling. And even though the circumstances keep us contained within our hearts, within our houses, our hearts are open and our mind is a vast expanse that we can go into and enjoy that gift of freedom that's always ours. The freedom of spaciousness, unbounded awareness. As I speak a series of affirmations, I want you to fall into the experience of them, not just the words, but let the words become a part of you. I am a pure soul, completely stripped of my role, character, and this costume, the body. My identity is of pure, bright light. I own nothing and desire nothing. Everything I need is right here inside of me. I am a peaceful soul. I am totally at peace with my life. I seek nothing different in any way. I am absolutely content. I am a powerful soul. My body is strong. My vision is pure. My words are sweet. Every thought is far-reaching, helping others. Nothing is impossible and nothing is unachievable. I am a loving soul. I love myself and respect myself. I love my life and the surroundings I find myself in now. I love all those close to me. I am love. No extra drop of love from out there can complete me. I am truth. I have all the wisdom I need to solve my problems. I'm totally in touch with my intuition. I feel what is right and I follow my truth. I am beautiful. I am filled with the light of divine virtues. I color others with my inner palette of beautiful qualities. I shine with the sparkle of divinity. I am happy. So happy that my cells are dancing inside. So filled with gratitude towards everything. So thankful for my life experiences. Thankful for all my friends and family. I am balanced. My mind and body are healthy. My giving and receiving are balanced. My being and doing are aligned. My equanimity serves as an example to others. I am in harmony. There's harmony between my head and my heart. Harmony with my friends and family. I'm in harmony with Mother Nature. I feel aligned with the divine universe. I am victorious. I have all the qualities to succeed in life. I have the wisdom to navigate through any challenge that comes along the way. Anything that I put my mind to does manifest. Victory is my birthright. With these virtues and with God by my side, what is unachievable? I am a fortunate soul. Notice how you feel right now. I want you to visualize that as you move on from here, from day to day, you carry these virtues with you and emanate these qualities as you engage with the world. From the silence and the stillness of your being, ask yourself this question: What is mine to do today and postpone no more? What is mine to do today and postpone no more? As you gradually bring yourself back here to our little virtual living well, I want you to please put in your responses that came up for you to this question. What is yours to do today? And as they start coming in, I also want you to formulate your questions that you may have. And please remember, the comments go in the chat, the questions go in the Q&A. Please don't mix those things up, because I'm not looking. Once I finish reading the comments that you post, I shift my attention to the Q&A and I focus there. So if you're asking questions in the Q&A, or the Q&A questions in the chat, I'm not looking at them. So please. All right, I'm beginning to see lots of responses. I want to appreciate myself and release all self-doubt. Excellent, Linda. Create a learning schedule for Yash, my 4-year-old. Wonderful. Be grateful. Thank you, Madhuri. Happiness overloaded in heart. Oh, that's beautiful to hear. Thank you, Mukul. Zahid says, surrender to the battle within myself so I may feel inner peace. Beautiful. Oh, I love this, Luz Elena. Take time to do nothing. Wow. Amen. Folks, I just want to talk about this for a minute. A lot of times we are coming from 300 miles an hour and we've hit this vast open space. We kind of got thrown off our vehicle and we're just like flying here with no support. But guess what? We have that deeply embedded personality trait to keep pushing, achieving, accomplishing, goal setting, all of that. So what's happening is people are just using this as an opportunity to just keep being busy, keep pushing harder to find those other goals, keep doing something else that they probably have been putting off. Folks, that is not going to change anything. That is going to keep us still mired in the same quagmire that brought us to this place. So I love it when Luz Elena says that taking time to do nothing, perhaps that is the biggest hint, that's the biggest message that Mother Nature is trying to give us right now. Such that, because you see, you can't be running and also expect to heal. So the healing will come from slowing down. Your body, your mind, everything needs a chance to recoup, revive itself. So thank you. That's a beautiful reminder there. Let's see. Love myself more each day. Yes, thank you, Maureen. Enjoy yourself. Sleep on time. Yes. Be kind to yourself. Forget all my worries and have every cell in my body dance with happiness. Fantastic, Swati. Christina says, exercise every day and follow a daily care, self-caring for myself. Yes. Saida says that I'm going to help those who are in need or more vulnerable, especially during these current times. This is coming from our daughter, Amina. Right. Veena says, I want to go to use this time to heal and use time wisely to strengthen my practice and reset. Yes, take this time to heal. Yes, important. It was an amazing session. Okay, well, I appreciate it. Preeti, we got still more to go. We still have the question answers. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and switch to the Q&A and see if you have any questions that you might want to ask, either from something that came today or came from another day. So I see one thing here in the comment section. On the flip side, how to do everything. Okay, so I'm not really sure, because I thought the whole point is you don't want to force yourself to try do everything. This is that gift of time for you to heal, right? So I'm not sure what your question is, Ahij, but you're saying is, I know there's an LOL, there's a smiley face there, but this probably is just a joke that you were saying. It was a joke. Okay. Right. So questions. So while you all are formulating your questions, I just want to say today is the day before here, at least here in America. I know we're all in different time zones across the world from wherever you're joining. Tomorrow, Tuesday for us, is going to be the full moon night. So that is a very powerful time during this period of quarantine, during this period of this social isolation, to be able to create some powerful meditation practices. And tomorrow, upon some of the request of you, I'm going to do probably the most powerful meditation that we've done this entire 15-day series, which is the meditation on death. So with the full moon and this powerful meditation, I ask that you make a list of things that you want to relinquish, the things you want to let go. Because I remember the other day when somebody asked me the question about the astrology, I shared, how do these celestial bodies affect my destiny? How do they affect my mind? How do they affect my being? How do they affect my impulses and so on? So it's the magnetic pull. So when tomorrow, as the moon is going to be full, it has that magnetic pull. So when I meditate, I am able to release. So consider this. What is it that you want to release tomorrow, which is going to be a powerful full moon night meditation as we sit down, same time as we gather then. Okay, so I have a question here. What are your thoughts on telepathy? Well, I'm going to share with you a short story about telepathy. I have many stories, but I'm going to share with you this one thing. So the year was 2004. I had just moved to the state of California. I went to university in Austin, in Texas. And the year I moved to California is the same year that our community, our spiritual organization, bought a beautiful retreat center on the waterfront in San Francisco Bay. Now that property had a lot of work to be done. We had 8 acres of land and there's lots of buildings. Some of them are good, some of them are really bad. So the first 3 years went into actually renovating the place and fixing the broken parts and removing some old buildings. So on this particular day, so every weekend I would go there and spend at this retreat center to help to fix things. So on this particular day, I come out of a building. It was probably about 10:30 or 11 in the morning. And then I see a family of deer right in front of me in the meadow. So I look at the deer looks at me, and obviously it's a startle response, right? So it's looking at me like, it's like, okay, now one step and it's going to run or it's going to do something. So I decide I'm going to do a little experiment that day. I said, you know what? I'm not going to move. I'm just going to stay here. And I'm actually going to connect with source and do what I do in meditation. So I tuned into myself as a soul. I tuned in upwards to the Supreme Being. I brought in the light as I normally do in my meditations, and I let that light spread in front of me. That very moment when I connected with Source, the deer put its head down and started grazing as if nothing had happened. So, folks, that was for me a proof that we all have abilities to pick up vibrations. Animals tend to preserve it a lot more than humans because they don't get caught up in the mind. This mind, as much as it was a blessing it is for me, it is also the human brain overthinks, complicates things, lives in some other time, in some other space. So we are not present, so therefore our telepathic abilities that we possess are undermined. And so when you hear of people having enhanced their telepathic abilities by meditating, essentially what you're doing is you are revitalizing that skill that you always had. So absolutely, there is an inherent telepathic ability in all living beings. Next question. What is the best way to differentiate relationships that will help ourselves to understand that which is trustworthy or not? The best way to differentiate relationships that will help ourselves to understand that which is trustworthy or not. I'm not really sure what you're asking. Your question is kind of twisting and turning. So relationships, can you please clarify, understand which is trustworthy or not? So trustworthiness comes from, I think, a deep intuition, and it comes from wisdom. So differentiate relationships that will help us is, I think, a question of really, when you are in the presence of this person and you leave, do you feel elevated or do you feel undermined? You know how certain people, they just have this, you just don't feel good about it. You just don't feel that calmness. There's a restlessness. There is a tightness, you know, this, you don't feel uplifted. And so you'll notice that many people stay away from such people. So to me, I believe that our body has that ability to feel what is the energy that I'm experiencing right now. Sometimes the mind cannot recognize that. So let the body be your guide to tell you whether a relationship is draining you or uplifting you. Hopefully that answers your question, Mukul. Gurpreet asked this question. Like you said yesterday, if we live our lives as if nothing will if we living our life as is, nothing will change when we come out on the other side. I'm not sure how things will change. For example, if there will same number of cars on the road again, pollution will be back. People will be stuck in traffic again. It will be frustrated again. How do you think things are going to change? Yes, that's a great question. So I don't think it's going to be the same from many perspectives. So there is the business side of things, there's the economic side of things, there's the spiritual side of things, there's the emotional side of things, and there's the ecological side of things. So there are many different dimensions to what we're experiencing right now. But I'll just say this. Now you're asking me from a social construct, from socially how things are going to change. I believe that these jobs that are getting displaced right now. So I heard the other day from my friend who's a VP at Google that on one given day, 1 million people were laid off just in this country, in America alone, just one day. This is like a few days ago. And that numbers, I believe, are increasing, and the number of unemployment is going to hit double digits, which America has not seen since the Great Depression. So having said all of that, I also feel that because of this extended period of time that people are going to be sitting at home, quarantined, isolated, they're going to reinvent themselves. So when I say they, businesses are going to reinvent, society is going to reinvent, and people are going to have to reinvent themselves. in that we will not just go back to doing the same old jobs, because businesses would have figured out in this extended period of time how they're going to sustain themselves without an overhead of manpower, right? Several operations would probably be given to technology, artificial intelligence, robotics, etc. So we're not just going to go back to the same old. So I feel, just in response to your question, as they're not going to be the same old thing, so telecommuting is going to become a thing that's going to stay. It's not just this temporary period of time that we're doing this because we're forced to. But then people have figured out that if I don't have to spend that 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour commuting to work, can I use that more effectively for my work, for my family, etc.? It's a better investment of my life and my time. So that will become a way of being. So thereby, the answer to your question is there are going to be lesser cars on the road. So the next question is, tomorrow going to be the last session? No, tomorrow is session number 14. No, but I was just telling you that tomorrow the topic is something that many of you asked for and something that came up in the Q&A before. So it is not, it is a penultimate. The day after Wednesday, our time in America, probably Thursday in some of the other parts of the world. 8th for us, I think is going to be 9th for some of you. That'll be the last day. All right, I'm going to just take this last question. When I listen to this meditation, my dogs stay very calm next to me. They really enjoy all of these sessions like I do. Yes, Christina, so you're telling me something that I was challenged by many people, especially this guy who is the CEO of a company called Gusto, which is now, I think, a $3 billion evaluation. His wife runs a meditation app company, and she invited me to do a meditation at a gathering at one dinner party. And so this guy, her husband, boyfriend, I think, partner, he does not really understand how this whole thing works. So I challenged him. They have a dog called Omo, a little dog, which is very, jumpy and just kind of goes around, kind of plays around. And so we was making a circle to sit down in meditation. I told him, I said, Ed, you watch. So I'm going to make humans meditate, but Omo, this little dog, which is very mischievous, is going to change in this next 10 minutes. He's like, really? Yeah, okay. We sat down and we meditated, and the dog went around the circle, and sure enough, in 10 minutes, it was sitting in the middle of the circle asleep. So there's the proof. So babies, animals, even human beings, we respond to the energy. So as we are cultivating and we are vibrating this peaceful energy, other creatures, other living beings around us will pick up that energy and they will respond to that. So I'm not surprised. Folks, with that, I want to thank you for your time. I want to summarize this session again. Like I said, the social disconnection is causing a lot of stress. So the 3 things I want you to walk away with from this session: first of all, find intentional communities. That means people or groups that are aligned with what you're going through, and see where you can feel an authentic expression of that. The second thing is deepening a relationship is not really about the quantity, but it's really about the quality. And the third thing is to celebrate the goodness in the midst of all of these things that we're experiencing right now. With that, I'd like to thank you for your time. We'll see you same place, same time tomorrow. Until then, be well.